What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Captain's Lounge. Remember, today, guys, it's gonna be a good show. I have a very special guest with me. It's been a long time since he's been on the channel. Everybody, welcome back, Lelouch V. Woo! Yay!
Has it been? I feel like it's been like maybe like a 2 months max. I feel
Yeah, bro, you've been on the channel since the gatekeeping thing we did like almost a year or two ago.
that was not a year ago.
Bro, that had to. I'll check. It's been damn near a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What's good, Solicit? Welcome everybody in the house. Yeah, y'all. So I have decided to cover some stuff that it's a little bit outside of my norm. I'm trying to be more, how do I say this? I guess selective about the things I cover. And I think this is something that's genuinely interesting to cover and that could spark a lot of dialogue. For anybody that is unaware of the situation that has been taking place, there has been there was, Jesus Christ, a Call of Duty tournament that was hosted by some Black women on Twitter. And this was just, again, for Black women only. It was duos, and the tournament was a grand prize of a certain amount of money. I can't remember how much money it was. They get all the applications in, and there's one specific application by a young lady by the name of Becky Jew on Twitter. Now, there's something interesting about Miss Jew here because she looks like this. For anybody seeing, she is, if y'all can tell, I would not be able to tell. It looks very white presenting, but according to her, she is part Black. Her father, by her words, is Caribbean, which doesn't necessarily mean he's Black, because I think a lot of people, when they hear Caribbean, they immediately think Black. But if you are kind of knowledgeable of how that stuff works, there are literal Chinese people that are from the Caribbean that will have like full accents, just because that people got over there. It's like a combination of different people and cultures over there in the Caribbean. But she was denied, and she felt the type of way about being denied because she felt that she had to prove herself as a Black woman she said, "Damn, what I need my birth certificate." And there's a lot of conversation around her being white presenting and not being allowed in this tournament. Now, I brought it back a little just because we've had a couple conversations about gatekeeping, and you're going to be on my panel in like a week or two discussing it again there. So I wanted your raw thoughts. I didn't know how knowledgeable you were in the situation or what was going on with it, or even what she looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I've been up to date on the situation as they got onto social media, but I mean, I think the tournament people were already in the wrong for choosing to do a Call of Duty tournament on purpose anyway. Because like, why would you do that? Like, there's so many other better games. Like, do something better with your time. But I mean, for this white passing woman, I mean, if she is actually Black, I'm sorry that you feel, you know, gate kept and unable to be able to participate in this thing that you wanted to do. But I mean, life is life. I mean, you don't always get what you want. Like, in fact, trying to assume that you should get this regardless is just you asserting your privilege, and that goes against what this is about anyway. This is supposed to be for Black women, but let Black women do them.
See, an interesting thing I have that I kind of look at when I'm looking at this is the whole aspect of what is being Black. Because I'm looking at, because like, okay, let's say because I think to some extent this is true. My grandmother says, "Hey, we did Ancestry.com. You have 40%, 25% Japanese in your blood." I think I'm Japanese to some extent for whatever reason. But I would not then be like, "Oh, I'm Japanese now. I'm about to go be and present in Japanese spaces specifically for Japanese people," even though I have that point, because I present very Black. Like, I look very Black and I present myself in that manner. So that's where I'm like, I understand people that don't want to add her in. Now, the thing that was interesting was, again, there were other biracial people that were in this tournament, so it wasn't just a biracial thing because you had other people there. And for the people that created it, it was just about her being white presenting. My thing is, what does she need to do to be Black presenting? Is it like if she was wearing box braids in the picture she sent, would she be Black presenting then? Because again, her skin tone is her skin tone. And at least for me, like the thing that like sold her as being represented to me was the fact that her hair was straight and very like Eurocentric looking. So that's my thing. Her in particular is kind of out of the it is what it is because I don't think she's spoken on any black issues before up until this point. She's not really been in any black spaces up until this point. And obviously she's kind of cloud chasing in this scenario. So I'm removing her specifically out of the conversation. Just like take her as a model. Like let's say you didn't know this person and you just saw them. They're light skinned, but now they have box braids instead of the Eurocentric hair that she has. Is she now black presenting and would people kind of look at that a different way?
I mean,
or at least would you look at a different way? I can't have you speak for other people, but like for you.
Yeah. I don't think it's about the hairstyle. I don't think it's about, how you it's do you look black? Then if you don't look black, can you actually prove that you have black lineage? If it's there, then cool. If it's not, then it is what it is. Like, there are plenty of, people that look white that still, present black. And
Mm-hmm.
if they can actually show that there is black in them, then I'll go by the 1% rule. So if you got black in you, you got black in you. But I've never like this is such a weird issue because like why all of a sudden do you want to be black? Like why just because of this Call of Duty tournament, just because of like, pop culture right now? Like why is this even really a conversation like this to a degree? Because really you could just went to any other Call of Duty tournament and there you just would have been like, dragged because you're a girl, not just because you're not a black girl. I don't know, but I'm when the world is in the landscape that it is currently. I
Mm-hmm.
just I'm curious to know why this has become an issue. Like why do people care about this to this
So
level?
I get why they care. Well, because especially with the way rights are being taken away, the way black people are being looked at, especially like black women being probably the most demeaned group in America. Period. I understand like the need for the space, and I also understand why she was denied. The only thing I'm kind of funny enough, I'm at a point now where I feel like I don't really adhere to the one drop rule anymore. I don't think that's the best accurate way to present it, just from the factor of kind of what I mentioned earlier, where it's like I'm now 5 to 10% Japanese, but I don't present Japanese. I don't fight for any Japanese social issues because I don't relate to it. I can't be a part of the culture and then not be a part of the culture and then claim to be a part of it. If that makes any sense. Like if you
Fair.
are a partially black person, but you don't speak on black issues, you don't care to fight for your rights as a black woman or even be in these spaces before now, I can't consider you black. Now, that my only thing that I'm always like curious on and kind of not fighting back on, but I always want to see what people's heads are at on this is the aesthetic thing. Because obviously, like she was denied off of her aesthetic. Because, or maybe I don't know if she sent in links to herself, but from what I gather, like the biggest issue is that she's white presenting. So I'm just like, my only
The
thing
only
is
thing
because
is
you see it a lot with like with Drake, you see it a lot with other mixed people to where if their aesthetic doesn't fit what is considered black, I'm like, okay, so now do you just have to have a certain aesthetic to be black?
like
Or
okay, let's go like the opposite. Like say if Uncle Ruckus was a real person
right,
and he hates all black. We know who Uncle Ruckus is if you watch the Boondocks at all.
right.
And he doesn't consider himself black. Is he not black now? Like just because he doesn't go speak on the culture, he doesn't consider himself part of it. Is he suddenly not black somehow?
I wouldn't consider him black, no. At least for me, I think black goes beyond the physical appearance and aesthetic because it's so easy to just make yourself similar to that. Or like it's like I'm looking at somebody like a Bad Baby or like any of the celebrities where they super tanned them, or like fucking Ariana Grande at one point where she like canned herself out super crazy. You put on like black style nails and black style clothing and the hairstyles, and then if we didn't know your history beforehand, and I just saw you, you could say you were black, and people would have to believe you because they only went off your aesthetic. But if I'm looking at you historically as a person and what you've been very passionate about, or what you've spoken about, and what you cared about, if it's not black issues, I personally just want, because I don't know. I feel like being black goes beyond the aesthetic. And that's why I'm always like kind of weird on I understand the importance of it and why people fight for it so much, but I think it should go beyond that. Because I think
So I mean, so like,
when you sit on stuff like that, it gets into a nasty conversation.
I mean, anytime there's race involved in America, it's always a bit of a nasty conversation. But
Mhm.
like for the people like the Raven Simone's that says she doesn't consider herself black. Like, well,
Right.
you might not, but like everyone that looks at you is going to. It was like they're not gonna like if a person grew up not watching Disney, not watching That's So Raven, Cheetah Girls, and they looked
Mhm.
at Raven, black woman. That's just
True.
what they're going
Well,
to identify that as. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this: I think there is being black in ethnic origin, like through your genetics, and there's being black as you, like culturally as a person. And I think that's the splitting of the hairs. There is like you can be black like through your genealogy and your family history, but if you don't claim and shit, like that's like saying you're a nerd, but you don't like to watch anime, you don't like read anything nerdy, you're not like you don't do anything remotely nerdy, but because your parents are a nerd, you then claim that because of that. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't participate in a culture, how can you claim to be a part of a culture?
I mean, I get that to a degree, but like the Uncle Toms, the Carltons, the people that are viewed as not being black
Right.
but are aesthetically black. Like it's not like they can like remove themselves from the moniker of blackness. Just like
Right.
if you are a black, even if you are a black person, 100% black, you were born with a black family. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Well, I'm not say like 100% black. Obviously, if you are white passing, but you still present black, you're obviously you're not 100% black. That's not the point. But
Right.
if you're a white passing black person that heavily identifies with the black culture, the black identity, the black issues, aesthetically, someone can look at you and still think you're a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
somebody can be scrolling online. Oh, that's a look. Why is this white woman trying to hijack the black culture? Why are you culture vulturing? Whatever the term that you want to use at the time, like that. It's hard to say it's not based off of aesthetic when context is removed before. Well, when context is removed, the aesthetic is always present. Does that make any
Right.
sense?
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's the one that you can lean back on. Because I think there's like the kind of like tangentially dive into this conversation. I've seen a lot of like people discussing. It was a tweet I saw, and it was relation to Drake and about how him claiming to be black and when he never struggled from the bottom and he never did X, Y, and Z things were handed to him. And it was a conversation there that I saw that I really wanted to kind of look into and kind of just kind of ponder for a little bit in regards to why black people, and not even just black people, because I think a lot of other cultures do this, where they like listen to our music and our culture, where they perceive a prerequisite to being black is living in struggle and strife. Like if you don't have some kind of crazy sob story or backstory that's damn near anime centric or is to that degree, now you're not a black person. Where it's like, okay, why is it that our culture? I mean, granted, I understand our history is built out of struggle and strife, but in modern day now, me and my pathway to be considered a black man should not be, oh, I have to struggle to be a black man now. Because that's not every black person's story. Because at that point, you're kind of building into a monolith, and I felt like it paints a very, very
I mean, but
disingenuous and bad like association with it.
that's brainwashing through the media. They
Right,
want us to associate our culture, our heritage with struggle instead of like, the greatness that we were. Like I mean, there's a campus of people that don't want people to believe that Egyptians were black because I mean
right.
of their accomplishments. I mean, they try to erase Mansa Musa from existence.
Hmm.
Um Yeah, it's part of the unfortunate machine that America's built through their media. It's almost like to have something makes you less than. And I mean that's something that we just have to break through conversations like this, I guess, or like through understanding that, you know, it's okay to like have come from something. Like, you don't have to be nothing to be black. Like, it's just, yeah,
Right.
it's just a weird association that, I mean, you're completely right. I mean, going back all the way to high school, I remember, you know, because I grew up essentially middle class. Like, people viewed me as like a silver spoon nigga. Well, I don't know if I can say that on
You're
here.
good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
But
fine.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, so I can understand how that is perpetuated through culture, both in social settings and through television.
Hmm.
But it's just something we got to get away from because, I mean, that doesn't make anyone any more or less black. Like, I mean, it's about. I mean, really, it's about what's on the inside. If you are a person that you know, this it's a tough conversation because, I mean, it goes back into your points. Where, like, yeah, like, I mean, if it is on the inside, then the aesthetic shouldn't matter. But if the aesthetic matters, then
Right.
it doesn't matter how you feel. So,
Because I do think there's like a middle ground. Because me questioning this for people watching and people that watch this later on, it's not me saying that the physical attributes don't matter. Because I do understand the importance of when you're throwing a tournament like this that's going to have eyes on it and have people engaging with it that are fans of the community, and you're doing this for a subsect of the community that's neglected. I understand the need to make sure that the black women in this tournament, like they're presenting as, especially as dark skinned black women, how when you usually look at panels or look at a lot of different instances where black people are supposed to be represented or have people representing black people, it's usually a lot of biracial or light skinned people. And again, we see it a lot in Hollywood and historically where usually the black women that are like were boosted up to the top were lighter, fairer tone black women like a Halle Berry or people put that label on Zendaya for a while because she was getting really, really popular, had a lot of roles and she was mixed as well. Um, I think Zendaya is probably like a good example of where I will question people that have this take, and it's not me saying that you're wrong for it, but it's I'm out of curiosity, like how does Zendaya present black enough? Because I don't see too many people questioning like their validity of being a black person. Um, it's more so like Hollywood giving it roles, but obviously people kind of universally, for the most part, accept her as a black woman. And again, you've seen her in like in braids occasionally. You've seen her like sing Beyonce songs or sing black songs. But when she's in roles, she's not like usually black coded in the roles that I see her in. If I'm looking at her in Euphoria, in the Spider-Man stuff, like she maybe isn't white coded per se, but she's definitely not black coded in a lot of those projects she's in. She's kind of just Zendaya, if that makes any sense. Or even if I'm in looking at Dune and stuff like that, she hasn't played like a character that is been black coded to my knowledge, at least
so
for me.
you're saying that she's not like Kiki Palmer, where like it is visible in even in the lines that she's
Right,
black.
right.
Shout
Through
out, well,
delivery and all that
no disrespect
stuff.
to Kiki, because, I mean, I'm a big fan. Very much respect.
Mm,
But I mean, I don't think that's fair. Because I mean, she is black, but I can understand how people can view her as not. Because, I mean, yeah, she doesn't like heavy present, like, she doesn't talk quote unquote ghetto. She's not throwing her neck around or all the other bullshit things that they associate with black culture.
hmm
Um, I just like, but at the same time, I can understand like if you grew up not being able to necessarily like hide that or not have those features, how you can be find offense in someone not showing those but still getting the roles set for a black woman. If that makes any sense,
Right.
like
Because it's a
you
lot of
know,
like conversation I had around because I did a Storm video kind of looking at a lot of the drama that they were giving Cynthia Erivo for wanting to be Storm. And the casting for it was obviously, people wanted like specifically dark skinned black women, which I can understand the need for, and I would like to agree probably. I think the people that I would cast would be dark skinned. But first and foremost, it's like, okay, is this the right actor for this role? Is this a great quality actor for this role? Which you can find both, obviously, but when I'm looking at like you feeling represented, can you not like for me, right? I look at a Jon Stewart as a character, as a dark skinned black man, well, like I see him clearly in me. But I can also see like an Aaron Pierre or a J. Cole or like a lighter tone black man, and also feel represented as a black person because I acknowledge him as being a black person. More so for Cole, for more so like subject matter, because he's very vocal about a lot of black issues, through social commentary and through his own music and things of that nature. I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to see themselves specifically in that role. It's almost like I'm just vicariously living through this individual versus I'm supporting this black person. Because I think it's something that we see historically. It's a bit of colorism within our own community where it's like
A
we
bit.
want black people in spaces, but we need them to look a specific way, and we're not going to acknowledge these other types of black people that we see, even though
Not
they may
just
be
look a
just as
specific way,
relevant.
they have to act a specific way. They have
Right.
to present and have the certain aura of a certain way. And if they don't, it's like, why you got this Uncle Tom out here?
I just feel like
And
she kills me.
yeah, yeah, it does. It's a double edged sword because a lot of the people that quote unquote don't talk black, don't act black, are the ones that have the ability to convey the black experience to other audiences
Hmm.
the best, in my opinion. And when they feel ostracized, like their likeliness of having the greatest things to say about the black community goes down. So I mean, but on the other hand, like I mean, if that is what you know, that's what you've grown up with, and that's all you've seen, and you see something
Hmm.
different, it's hard to say someone is wrong for questioning it. So I mean, there's right on both sides to a
Hmm.
degree, but again, it's just not a fair conversation to have. Like to say someone is more or less black because of
Just skin tone or like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like that's my thing, man. I don't know. It's something that I would expect from white people or other cultures because they just don't understand. But it really, as I've seen in the video, dude, it really jams my Glock when I see other black people still kind of having this like very rudimentary understanding of like what they consider to be a black person and what the peak of black excellence and representation is. Again, I understand and wholeheartedly support the idea of having black people that look specifically like you in spaces, but I think having black people of every shade, shape, and color being represented is an important thing. But I really do feel as though that we also, on the same token, if it's somebody that doesn't look necessarily like you, like still support them as a black individual. And for a lot of people, I think we do for the most part, but obviously the internet is the internet and it's not a real place, obviously. So,
I mean, there's levels to it too, because I mean, even within the people that have the aesthetic of blackness, like you know, uh, black people in America aren't going to be supporting things said by black people in Britain 9 times out of 10. They
right.
usually don't care. They disassociate and think that those aren't the same set of issues when it's even yeah, like this is where those issues came from. Like they made those over there and then they brought them
Hmm.
here and we repurposed them. But I mean, like I don't understand what makes us feel so divided based off minor differences like that. Because I mean, the black struggle is pretty real across the board. So
Hmm.
us making it more difficult for each other doesn't help anyone. It makes all of our lives worse, and it also actually just feeds back into the greater system. Because I mean, if we're divided individually, even though if there's more of us, like we have less power because we can't agree on anything. We can't even agree on what blackness is
Hmm.
generally. Like like us right now. Like I mean, like is it the aesthetic? Is it the culture? Is it where you were born from? Is it how you were brought up? Is it the people that you were around? Like
Hmm.
is it the experiences that you had based off of these things combined? I think it's more so somewhere in there. Um, but yeah, it's a difficult conversation. And I think it's something that we need to address as a black community within ourselves. Like, you got to get unified on something, somewhere. What is being black?
Right. Which hopefully we get together at some point and figure that out. I think it'll take a very long time because if we can't come to a conclusion on that within ourselves, it's gonna be real hard to fight other issues from the outside, people that don't like black culture or black people in general.
And that's what they're banking on.
Literally. But yeah, for anybody that has thoughts, comments, concerns on that, y'all can put it in the comment section below. And I'll probably like once I got to look at like private content, so I may do like a Q&A version of this where I kind of like bring up people from chat or whatever else that had this conversation. So y'all let me know if you're interested in it. But kind of moving on and transitioning on to the next topic because I don't want to beat that conversation to death. Just really quickly, like a little transition everything before we get into the next topic of the Spider-Man stuff. What are you reading right now, man? Comic book wise, what are your recommendations if you had to give one to people that are watching? Now you said you were looking at some indie stuff.
Yeah, if I'm recommending a comic to anybody right now, I would say there's so many good black titles out there. I mean, I'm gonna go with a little bit of bias because I mean we're gonna be seeing them at BlurCon in a couple of days. But go ahead and read some Yanu. Yanu Child of Wonder. It's an upcoming. Well, it's going to be a series on Cartoon Network, dropping on April 6th. But right now, it's a Dark Horse comic with three books out of it. It's about the African American. Well, it's a Nigerian mythological tale about a little girl. I don't want to put too much of the spoiler out there, but she's fighting some issues. She's it's in setting really akin to like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's like mystical powers set into the world. I highly recommend reading that one. Especially before the comic book, the series comes out because everybody's going to start flooding the internet with content on it. Um, Dog Pound is another one I recommend. I finally started reading that from one of our boys. What is it? I feel like an old person now because I
That's
can't
somebody
remember his
we
name.
interviewed him at MomoCon, or no, was it MomoCon or DragonCon? We interviewed him at
That was LA Comic Con.
LA Comic Con. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
Man, we had a
talking
lot of
about that.
cons. We had a lot of cons.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh god.
another one I highly recommend. I mean, I'll be biased and throw Briarlands in there. Getting ready to drop issue 2. Probably dropping that at DreamCon. So if you want to come out, support, come read a Blurred's comic book.
Yeah, and I'll be doing a video on that. I told Stan and y'all I cover that whenever I drop the second issue. I'll go through because I have the first issue somewhere either on the shelf or it's in a box in my collection box somewhere over here. So yeah, y'all check that stuff out. I think on my end, I've talked about it a bunch. I recommend all my friends to go get it. I bought a couple first issues for some friends of mine, but this current storm run that Muewa Adiele is writing right now is spectacular. My favorite storm run I've ever read. I love what he's doing with this stuff. And then interviewing him on Kaori's channel, the Comic Doctor. For anybody that is interested in that, I think I put it in. I posted it either in the Discord or in the community notes. So you guys can find that interview. I love the care and detail and attention that he's putting into the story, and stuff they got going on with that. Because if I remember right, getting up into, I think issue 5 just came out, but we're about to get into issue 7 soon, where she's about to have a meeting with all the thunder gods of cultures all over the world. So it's really looking in depth with Storm, and it's probably the strongest she's ever been. So that I recommend. Then also for my horror fans out there, the Alien versus Avengers stuff that's going on right now is really fun. It's a what if story, but you're seeing xenomorphs fight all your favorite Marvel heroes. Miles Morales is a big prominent part of this too, and he's a older man, like Miles Morales with the Venom symbiote also fused with like a face hugger at the same time on his suit. So it's like dope stuff going on with that story. So if y'all are interested in any of that stuff, please check that stuff out. And speaking of Spider-Man, the transition into it, we just got a fresh new series on Disney Plus that showcased a new iteration of our Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man called the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think the last episode, I think it's 10 episodes, released like last week or the week prior. And there were a lot of conversational pieces about the show held even before it came out. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the drama I covered on the channel in regards to the main actor saying that he initially was scared it was going to be woke initially, and that being a thing, about Dr. Kirk Connors being race and gender swapped. And there's a lot of conversations around this DEI, quote unquote, and stuff like that going on with the show. But what I wanted to kind of reflect on now that I've finished the whole series, because I did say I was going to speak on a lot of this stuff once it was done, and I just didn't feel like recording a whole separate video on this. The show is what I thought it was going to be. It probably, for me, finished somewhere around an 8. I think my biggest issue with the show at this point is just the animation. I think the animation could be improved upon. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Invincible, where like the story was pretty solid, but the animation just wasn't the strongest out the gate in certain moments. But the thing that I love the most about this, and I mentioned it before, is one, I want to debunk the whole DEI stuff with the show, because I do think this show really did a good job at bringing forth a lot of characters from a lot of different cultural backgrounds and made them big characters in the show. So for people that have not watched the show, aren't aware, we have characters like a Wave, who was a Filipino character, which she didn't have powers or abilities in the show yet, but we do know this is her character by the name of Pearl. We have a Filipino character in here. One of the main prevalent characters that's been taking up a lot of screen time being Lonnie Tombstone. He's in the show, so we have another black character there. Amadeus Cho, another, I think Amadeus is Japanese or Korean. I can't remember which one. He's in the show as well. We have Wakandans in the show. There are a lot of different people of different cultural backgrounds that are in the show that are characters that weren't just race or gender swapped. They brought them in. They're making them part of the show. And going forward, this show has a lot of potential for a lot of different storylines based on all these characters they brought in. Because a lot of these characters have rich stories and storylines that you can take from. And also it'll be fresh because you haven't really seen too many of these characters brought outside of the comic books anywhere. I don't know how much of, well, you said you haven't watched any of the show, right? Yet?
No, I know a lot of the drama behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And circling back to that drama and listening to what you just said, so like, wait, the media has evolved, quote unquote, woke into. This show sounds like that, so I'm curious to know how a person that believes that was to call this not woke. Because I mean, usually just the existence of multicultural anything in content sparks woke agenda. Don't let there be anybody LGBTQ in there.
Right.
Them existing in those gets all the spam with the woke tag. So I'm curious. I want to know from his mouth, like, what makes this different from that, and why you support it so much.
So first off, when it came to like the interview from the main actor that's playing Spider-Man in the show, the thing that did irritate me a lot is that when you saw a lot of the posts about him saying that, I went and like find on either in the video or on the stream, I went and found like the full article where the interview was. I think it was in Variety. Literally like the next sentence or two after that, he immediately says, "Oh, but it wasn't. The show's really well done, and I'm excited for it to come out." But people took that like previous quote of like him saying it was, I think literally it was just the verbiage. If he didn't say woke, I think it would have been fine, because I think he's a little bit younger from what I've gathered. I think he, as well as a lot of people, just misunderstand what the term means. At least me growing up, like around my grandparents, I took woke as you like being like literally you opening your third eye to like governmental influences, to social constructs, things like that. It didn't have anything to do with like diversity or equity or inclusion. People kind of take DEI and throw that to woke together in the same thing and don't really understand what the term was originally for. But yeah, I think with this show, there is a lot of misunderstanding with one around that term and around that ideal in general, as well as people just not watching the fucking show. Like, I think a lot of people just didn't watch it. They just, and part of it too, I'm starting to feel like Disney's doing a lot of this shit on purpose in regards to the promotion for it. Because I feel like, because you kind of have a thing now to where if you hype up the diversity aspect by including a gay character or race swapping or gender swapping a character, you're going to have a subsect of people that are going to watch just to hate on it and be mad at it because they don't like diversity, or keep it a buck, they just don't like black people or brown people in general. And then you're going to have a flip side of people that will like watch it just to get back at other people so they can like hype it up. And then you have the people in the middle that were just watching this, it was genuinely a good show. But if you promote it that way, at bare minimum, you're going to get people watching the show to begin with. And I
I
think
mean,
that I can't for sure say Marvel is like behind doing this shit on purpose, but I would not be surprised if that's part of the marketing campaign because a lot of it is very conveniently timed and when it comes out.
if you notice, they do it on basically every project that they do because they know it generates a conversation. Conversation builds attention. Attention usually leads to revenue. So yeah, they're doing it so people can talk about it, and then when people talk about it, they, like you say, either go see it out of spite or go see it out of spite the other way. And then of course you have
Mm.
the largest campus is going to be the people that just are watching it for the sake of it just being a show. But when you get to engage all three of those plates like that, I mean, it's bad money to not do that almost because you're just like, oh, I could have this show come out and no one talks about it, or I can have this thing come out and everyone talks about it.
And I think is you don't have to do this because again, I think I used Invincible as an example earlier. Invincible has diversity everywhere. Like the main character, like Mark's like half, I can't even say white, half alien, and half I think his mom's Korean. I can't tell like what culture she is from the animation, but he's Asian of some sort. Like he's half Asian for sure. You have him and plenty of other black and brown characters in there. They didn't like promote that as being. I think the only time I saw that being an issue was people talking about switching, race swapping. What was his girlfriend's name initially? I can't remember her fucking name.
Amber,
Not Eve, Amber. Like Amber being way swapped. But even then, like Amber really wasn't a major part of the story in the comics to begin with. Like she had like
mm,
a mini arc, and she had this whole thing about her
getting
having
abused.
some domestic violence issues there with Mark. But outside of that, she wasn't as involved in the series as she was in the show. So my whole thing is like you have a series like this that is pretty much got the attention of damn near every nerd possible on the spectrum with all this diversity, equity, and inclusion in it, and you didn't have to market it any of that way. And I see shows like that. I see shows like House of the Dragon where you have like Black Valerians in there all over the place now, and they didn't market it that way. And that show's very like big on like the patriarchy and social commentary. I don't know. I feel like you've seen too many things dominate the media sphere like out of their quality, and you having that diversity in there without it being a big mainstay in the marketing and promotion for it.
I mean, let's walk that back. Invincible. I adore the show. One of my favorite animated series to exist. Period. And
Hmm.
there is even the fans of it didn't know that season 3 just dropped. Like a lot of fans had no idea that it came out. So I
Right.
mean, the quality is there that it's so good that regardless of that, it's still going to get some attention. But like when the fans of it don't know it exists, it shows that the controversy behind it is louder than the quality 9 times out of 10. And when you have a mix of both, if you have controversy and quality, you're
Hmm.
going to get a lot of attention.
Well, to give some pushback on that, I think with Invincible specifically, a lot of the issues with it were like the first big time gap in between it, between like the first and the second season, where it was like what a year, damn near 2 years in between. Because
Attack on Titan missed what, like it went from 2012 to 2019, and then they broke that up repeatedly, swear to finally end in 2024. I don't think the time gap is an issue.
but that's anime though. I feel like that's a different type of fandom and a different type of like commitment. Like I'm looking at like I can't even say comic book fans. 'Cause I don't think a lot of people even read the Invincible comics to know to have that like that level of commitment to it. Versus like the anime and manga fan. I feel like anime and manga fans are just a little bit more, I guess, cultish
Aggressive.
for lack of a better term. Yeah, like we gonna like it was my favorite anime. I don't care how long it takes. I will wait until that thing drops. Like Dragon Ball Daima, like people have been waiting on another Dragon Ball series or edition for forever now. As soon as that shit dropped, even if people didn't watch it to like it, people were just watching that shit immediately to say something, to have something to say about it. But again, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a that's a layered conversation
Let's
for
put it this
sure.
way, like Batman fans, like
Right,
if a piece of Batman content comes out, whether it's the worst or best Batman thing ever, they're gonna be there immediately. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
To either love it or hate it.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, there are. I think the difference is that I mean, anime does a better job of making people love that content. But that is another conversation. But I don't think that I think when you have a certain level of fandom, it really doesn't necessarily matter about like what the medium is. The behavior is gonna be replicated.
Right. Well, I don't know. Got- there's a like a I think it's a video I may make at some point, but because there's a big conversation to have there about like historical relevance. Because to your point, like with Batman, he's been around for 75 plus years now in comic books and multiple different animated versions through different movie versions, and a lot of those different versions they have been some of the bigger pieces of media to exist. Period. Like if you're looking at like the Dark Knight versus Invincible being a book that came out what early 2000s and probably ended like mid 2000s and then just got its first adaptation 3 4 years ago, something like that, whatever the time gap was. I think there's like I don't think it had the same amount of time to build up that loyal fan base. And part of it too is the fact that that story actually ended. So it's like, okay, we can't just milk this character out for infinite fucking versions. Like we told the story from start to finish, over with now. Either you love it for what it is, or it is what it is. Versus a manga where I think for like Invincible has what, like maybe 300, 400 issues, something around there, if that. Versus I feel like manga have like infinite chapters. Like for a legit, like if I'm looking at like any of the big three or any of the or like Attack on Titan, like there's like a crazy amount of chapters that come out.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, Hunter. There's another one that's highly coveted.
Right.
It's not finished. I mean that's been running since the '90s. The manga for it. Um,
How far? How
I
many? You
think
know how many chapters in they are in that manga?
let's find out. But yeah, I want to say it's under 200. I mean, if they got 300 issues in Invincible, they definitely got them beat.
Right. I'm curious. 'Cause I had a because when I read Invincible, I read it through the like the omnibuses, so I didn't like read the individual issues. So I wasn't keeping track of like how many issues there were.
But yeah, there's 400 for Hunter x Hunter. I'll think of one. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen is done.
Funny enough, there's only 144 issues of Invincible.
144. So yeah, it's
If
got more issues than Jujutsu Kaisen. I want to say that is
yeah,
like how many issues does Jujutsu Kaisen have?
when did JJK start? That came out like what mid 2010s maybe
That was 2018.
2018. Okay, I know
Yeah.
Invincible started like was it like 0203? Again, I should have done a lot of this research ahead of time, y'all, for people that are watching.
Hmm.
But I think like to not stray
So
too
yeah,
far
there's
off the point though.
271. 271 for you.
All
Yeah.
right. Because I'm at this point, we've spiraled off into a tangent. I don't even know where we were
Yeah.
originally, but
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, bottom manga does a better job of essentially creating a regular appointment in people in anime.
mhm,
Like, I'm going to watch this thing every week, so now I'm going to be that much more involved with it every week. I'm going to fall in love with it that much more every week. I mean, it's just
mhm,
it trains us to love it, as opposed to comics, which are a little bit more sporadic.
right. Um, true. I think marketing. I don't know. I wish even when I look at Super Bowl marketing. I look at like political marketing. I feel like a lot of it is still kind of stuck in the Bronze Age, where you see a lot of the same tropes that they use for marketing since how the beginning of marketing being like a legit thing in the departments. I'm and I feel like whenever you see any kind of unique marketing for something, that thing takes the fuck off. Like I'm looking at back when like Bird Box was a thing and like the memes were a part of their marketing and how popular that show got off of that like unique advertising they did there. Or like Wendy's when they were like getting on Twitter and like beefing with other places. Like I feel like Wendy's got hella popular, at least in social media for that moment in time. I know maybe new ideas are more difficult to come up with, but I wish a lot of these teams and these marketing departments would take a lot more time to figure out unique ways to advertise stuff outside of like, hey, we're just going to cause controversy for you to get something in the news. And I think a lot of content creators are kind of going in that same route where it's like, hey, instead of making dope, unique content, I'm going to do clickbaity shit or do extreme shit to get the clip off, and then you guys will not talk about me.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, well, the unique people are usually either already popular or so far in the obscure that they don't want the popularity and they're just doing their thing on their own. But I
Right.
mean, most people aren't original. The only reason why the term "nothing's new under the sun" is so universally accepted is because there are so many copycats instead of people just that know how to take something that already exists and create something unique to them.
Right.
Um, Everybody would just rather follow the steps, like, oh, this is the formula, so I'm going to stick to the formula instead of evolving it. Again, another tangent. We're talking about Spider Man.
I think yeah, because I think I've said all out. Because I can't get too deep into it because I know you haven't seen it. So like for I
Yeah.
guess for light spoilers, I think people are watching this also looking to see like final reviews on it. Final reviews for the show. The show ended pretty well in my opinion. I was initially like in my initial review, I was scared about like tonality and like inconsistencies in that. I think the show ended a lot darker than what I expected initially, and I'm kind of excited about that because I think it leaves a lot of room for some really unique storylines. And again, me seeing some of my favorite characters like Nico being in this show and them alluding to like her abilities and like the staff of one being a thing. I'm really excited to see what she does in that because I really liked her in the Runaway show on
Nico is like
Freeform.
Nico from the yeah.
Yeah, she's like his best friend in the show, so she's gonna get like a big
That's
significant
interesting,
piece.
man.
So we need some of that magical stuff in there. Because I only really ever seen her in like the Runaways and then playing Midnight Suns, playing the game. So like I don't really see Nico too much if you don't read the Runaways.
Yeah,
So her,
yeah.
I want to see more of Amadeus Cho because I'd like legit never see him unless it's like in the Young Avengers. So seeing another Hulk being dope, and I'm always for the Hulks. So yeah,
I
it's,
wonder if
it's
they're gonna get into his orientation because him and Wiccan are together in the comics.
really I did not know that
Hmm.
because I know that's the thing. And then also they like Matt, is it Matthew Cox? Is that the name of the actor? I'm blanking on the Daredevil actor. Matthew
Yeah.
Cox, right? Yeah, he's in
Hmm.
this. Like he plays his role because Daredevil makes an appearance and he like voices the character in this. And that's why I'm also trying to figure out like if this still is going to be because I remember initially when the show was announced early on, it was supposed to be a prequel to like the Tom Holland Spider-Man stuff. And that's why you see so many like MCU stylized things, and they even acknowledge the Sokovia Accords and things like that. But I guess they changed that last minute and made it its own thing. But I'm excited to see what things they kind of take from this and steal from this to bring over. Kind of similar to like with the Miles Morales stuff with the Spider Verse. Like, okay, what are we going to take from this to try to bring over? Are there any actors here we can move over? Are there any plot lines we can move over and extend forward? I don't know.
Now that line of thinking right there, it's a spicy conversation itself. Cause like, what is next for Spider Man exactly? Because if this is part of the MCU, is this now the new canon for Spider-Man, and they're going to run with this direction with what they do MCU wise? Is this like an
Mm.
alternate universe where they get to play around with it and like build it and let it be its own thing? But if they are referencing MCU things, like is it MCU parallel or is it new view of the Spider-Man in the MCU? Like, what is where is Tom Holland? Bottom line.
I really wish they would do, and I've talked about it to the death of me, but do what Gunn is doing with like the Elseworld stuff with DC, where we can have a Matt Reeves Batman and get experimental with a Clayface horror movie written by Mike Flanagan. Like you can do crazy shit like that and it be off in its own unique story and then still have your main timeline. Because I think like the difficult things about this is because you can't make any of these stories really canon for real because it could all fuck with the main thing you got going on. Like I feel like we should have like a live action what if series where you can just pay fucking Chris Hemsworth some crazy money to come over and be I don't know like do deceased or like get Ryan Reynolds to come in and do that or like a Deadpool kills the Marvel universe like that kind of stuff. Like if we had a live action version of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe and we just let that happen and all the comedic shit that comes with that happen, that shit would like motherfuckers will watch the fuck out of that. Me
Yeah.
being motherfuckers, I'm niggas. It's me. I'm niggas. Um, I don't know, and I think that's something that's kind of a missed opportunity there. Because I don't know, because I think the biggest conversation I hear about it is like fans understanding continuity. I'm like, at a certain point, casual fans do not give a fuck about that. 9 times out of 10, they're going to watch new rock stars or their favorite content creator to figure out where things are in the continuity anyway before they watch it. So there's no point, at least in my opinion, in them.
Casual fans and continuity, like they barely even remember which movies led up to one. Like the
Right.
casual MCU fan has not seen every MCU movie and series.
Hmm.
to even know what connects what with where. Like I can guarantee you, the casual fan looks at the Thunderbolt like, who are these new people? Even though they've
Literally,
all been in previous movies.
it's gonna be tough, man. But yeah, man. So what was it? There was one more thing I wanted to kind of discuss with you that kind of is a new development that happened in regards to the Wonder Woman game by Monolith being canceled.
Mm,
Because this was something that I was really looking forward to because I
it was
really
gonna be fire
enjoyed.
with the Nemesis system.
Man, I love playing the Shadow Mordor game, and you already know me. Like I'm slowly watching all the Lord of the Rings movies. I think I'm like halfway through the second one, the Two Towers, the extended
His
version.
journey.
But I
That's
really fell in love
a
with the
5 hour
world,
movie.
bro. It's like I was like, just 4 hours of my life. I gotta like take this in chunks. Um, but I really fell in love with that world playing the Shadow Mordor game and seeing how involved like Mordor was, and the Nemesis system was like the perfect thing for that because of the fact every playthrough was so personalized. So you're telling me you're going to give me one of the DC big three, one of the most revered comic book characters to ever exist, and now she's getting that, and it was going to be, I don't know, that game had potential to be dope, and they canceled it. So now we probably won't see another Nemesis system game until what? Like I think they said something about 2037 or something like that,
Tough.
because they WB patented the system. So it's something that I'm just like,
Mhm.
all right, man.
Yes, I
Saying
mean,
all that, I wanted to know one, how you felt about that initial reaction, and two, a game that you would want to see have that system in it you feel like would benefit best from a Nemesis system in it.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part, I was upset when it got canceled. When I looked into it more, I understood why, but it still like bothered me. Because I mean, it was the failure of Suicide Killed the Justice League and
Mm-hmm.
multiverses that led like, okay, we can't afford to put the resources into this. You know, you got the money. I mean, just do it. But I
Right.
mean, that part I got it, but it bothered me. What I would love to see that in, I would take that completely in a different direction. I would put that in like a basketball game. In fact, I would, if I'm Warner Brothers, I'm putting that in a expanded Space Jam 2 game where you create your own character and you have to navigate through the game verse that his son within the movie made. And you now go to different planets and like play characters in basketball based off like you go to Harry Potter
Mm-hmm.
world, you go to Game of Thrones world, you go to kind of Kingdom Hearts it, but like
Mm-hmm.
based off how you played them in that game, it's now how they react towards you. And like, oh, you know, Arya is a slasher. Wink, wink. So you dunked on her, you got extra points towards her, and she respects you more. But on her team with Sansa, and Sansa's a shooter, and it's like, oh, you're slashing. I don't respect you, and now that affects your interactions in the game, and I got to deal with
Mm-hmm.
that.
That'd be sick. You know, you say basketball. I'm like, man, 2K, man, that would like I would play so much my career if that was a thing where you like
Yeah,
lost the
bro.
game to end.
Hmm.
Because I think to think
Hmm.
about that too. Probably like more than that, I probably want to see it in a Mass Effect game. Obviously, Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed for sure. Because the number one thing I'm looking at is the whole aspect of you building kind of a personal relationship with the different people that you're either assassinating if you're in Assassin's Creed, or you're killing in Mass Effect, or even playing in 2K, where it's, oh, this guy beat me because for whatever reason I'm playing on a high difficulty, or I lost focus, or whatever it may be. And now that's like your rival, and they'll sneak up on you when you're on another mission. They'll sabotage you here and there. They'll attack your home base. Like the Nemesis system to me is like damn near a cheat code in regards to how to get
Creating
somebody
personal
enthralled in your
reactions.
world. Yeah, because every
Mhm.
playthrough is unique. There's no playthrough that's the same way. And it requires a lot of work because you got to like record a lot of voice lines and have a lot of different unique scenarios so it doesn't get old really quickly. But bro, if you do that shit, the amount of money you can make off that, and then like let's say you go into another DLC world where like you are we're in an, like let's say it's like on some Elder Ring shit where all right, new area, new set of hierarchy to overcome. Like I'm imagining like if you could have a fucking like solo leveling game, but with the fucking Nemesis system in it, and you're just like literally absorbing and conforming the prior bracket to your side to then go against another bracket, it's something like that where it can get really repetitive, but still be really unique for a lot of people. Like there's some shit, it would take really long to get old if you were to do that.
Or in an MMO.
I would love that too. What's the MMO?
I
I'll
mean,
fuck
that
with?
way, literally every person's interaction in that MMO is gonna be different. Like you actually have a reputation as you're going into these NPC cities. That would be crazy.
Like nigga, imagine a Baldur's Gate, but with a Nemesis system in it. Like Baldur's Gate 3 with a Nemesis system would be the most cracked out shit ever. I already put a bunch of time into that story. But now throughout the story, I have like random rivals and shit that I'm attacking or having issues. Yeah. It's sad that they're patented it and we just don't get to see it in other stuff. And I'd be really curious to know for people, again, if y'all know in the comment section below how that works. I don't know if it's like a certain coding pattern this was patented or because I don't understand how you can't do something similar to that tangentially without it being like a violation of the patent. Like it has to be like something in the code itself. But I'm not a coder or a computer science major at all, so I'm not sure how that
There's
works in
some
its
dedicated
details.
fan out there looking for exactly how they can get outside that 32% threshold for the patent.
That shit's crazy, bro. That shit's insane. That's probably something we could probably like. Yeah, that may be something I want to talk about at some point. I got a bunch of ideas on videos I want to do, and that may be one where I kind of like look at the games that would benefit the best from the Nemesis system. But yeah, y'all, that's for the most part all I have to talk about. I was kind of wanting to get on and have another stream for a lot of people that are new because I am fully acknowledging how crazy fucking wild that Spike video went, and I have like 500 to almost 1,000 new people influxing into the channel from that video or from the TikTok where it went crazy as well. So kind of like getting you guys a little bit more into insight on who I am on a outside of a scripted video level. And again, for people that are watching this for the first time, this is kind of where I have a lot of my unscripted reactionary conversation or dialogue with either people that I fuck with, like Otis, or just in general, I'll just get on, react to some content that I think is really prevalent, and I'll get that out here. So that's the kind of content you can expect from me on this channel. Outside of the scripted video essays and just general reactions to different shows or anime that I'm watching at that point in time. Trying to keep this stuff a little bit more consistent. Now, especially now that I have like an influx of new people that are expecting a lot more new content from me. So outside of the stuff that you've already seen on the channel, out of the other 300 videos, you can expect this kind of content from me. But yeah, before I get ready to get up out of here, Otis, do you want to let the people know where they can find you at or the things that you're working on, things like that?
Yeah, go to blurred.com. You'll see all the information on what we got working on there. If you are going to BlurredCon, Blurred will be very involved in the processes there. So come out and give us a show. You gotta check out our new merch. Come talk to us. And same thing with DreamCon. Really involved in the processes going there too. We should have a big presence at DreamCon. Come party with us. I'm sure we're gonna put something together for it.
Yeah, sweet up, man. I will be there. So if y'all see me at BlurCon, come say hi to your boy. I'll be recording some content there. I got some stuff that me and Kia are going to work on with American Horror Story, as well as I'm going to be doing a Hot Ones challenge, I think, with her. And I think Terrell said he's down for that too. So I'm going to probably be dying doing that shit. So y'all will get that video and it should be fun. But yeah, this has been Captain Diesel of Captain Diesel's Dojo, aka the Captain's Lounge. Again, if you guys want to find this and you don't want to watch it on YouTube, this will also be an audio version in podcast format on Spotify as well. So you guys can get it there. But again, this has been Captain Diesel of Captain Diesel's Dojo. And for everybody watching, please remember, forever and always. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.